My woodworking is very important to me. I really pride myself in making something that is special to someone else. It'll be, let's say, a family heirloom that can be passed down. So the stuff I make and sell, I really pride myself in. Over my woodworking career, I've made quite a bit of furniture, but primarily I focused on wood turning. I actually teach, thoroughly enjoy the aspect of sharing the knowledge of wood turning and teaching. That's probably the most joy I get right now, is teaching and sharing the knowledge. Here's some acorns from an acorn class I teach over at John C. Campbell. This is my kit for the class. These are just some samples of some acorns I've made for the class. This is a mesquite football. Once I'm done, there'll be 239 pieces of wood in here. It's mesquite, maple, laces are maple, valve stem is walnut. And then from there I will take it to my laser and engrave whatever the customer wants on the bowl. This natural edge bowl, another ambrosia maple tree. So I'll turn the bowl, let it dry for a few days, and this is ready to sand. So in my other room over there, I got a pile of bowls that are in process. So this is would be like a salad bowl. This was a burl that came down in the neighborhood, and what we call twice turned. So I will just turn it round, then let it dry, then return it. And the rule of thumb is, for every inch of thickness, you let it dry for 1 year. So when you're a bowl turner, you need to build up some inventory, and they're actually ready to go into the lathe to be returned. The tools that I started out with are just your basic woodworking tools, skill saws, miter saws. And then over the years, I progressed into bigger tools. I started out with a mini lathe and turning on that. And then in 2010 is when I bought my first Powermatic 3520B. Which was like coming out of the dark ages compared to my previous equipment. So over here is my Powermatic section, which I have a Powermatic 6-inch helicoil joiner. Just goes through wood like butter. It's my first helicoil joiner, and thoroughly enjoy it. Very, very heavy piece of equipment. My Powermatic lathe 3520B with the bed extension on there. Never had any issues, never had to call service. Thoroughly rock solid, great machine. Over here I have the latest 3520C, about 100 pounds heavier than the B. This has the swing away on it. Very nice feature, especially as wood turners get a little older. This comes in handy for swinging away the tailstock. Very nice feature. It also comes with a bed extension, which I don't have on the C. Also the head, a little narrower for working, and also as a really good indexer. The nice feature of the C is it has the pendant control, so when you're turning your bowl or whatever or hollowing on this end, you're not reaching around your piece, try to hit the E-stop or which, it's kind of a dangerous move there. So you can control everything from right here. Here's a couple of cowboy hats that I made. This was out of poplar with leather dye, dyed black. And this red maple, ambrosia maple tree, both trees came down in Helene. Over here we have a piece of poplar that I've already kind of trued up a bit. And here shortly we're gonna attempt to make a cowboy hat out of that piece of wood there. Some people core this area, but the funnest part of making a hat is removing that wood. A typical hat will generate about 60 gallons of shavings. On a cowboy hat, about half the hat near the brim is straight, and then it tapers in. I taper it about 15 degrees in. So we'll get a taper now. Okay, we just flipped the hat around. We established the brim, about the first ½ inch of thickness. We're shooting for just an eighth, a little under an eighth, right here all the way around the hat. And we're going to put the light behind the wood, because when wood is green, it's translucent. So we're going to use the light as a reference for the thickness. So we're looking for a certain color pink. And when we get that, we're going to stop and measure. We're going to stop and measure a lot. If we see a white light, one of two things have happened. Either you went through the hat or you went to heaven, and we don't want either one of them right now. Just use a shear scrape and just smooth it out a little bit. getting rid of a little bit of wood. The hat is sanded on the brim, and so now I'm going to burnish the band in the hat. This is a piece of ebony. This is a piece of paducah, and I put an edge on it, and I'm going to use this part. This is end grain right here. I'm going to use this part right here, freshly sanded, and that will transfer the color before it starts to burn. That was ebony. Now I'm going to use a paducah. We're going to flip it around. This poplar tree is so big and heavy, it's moving on me, so I decided to use a faceplate. Just a mandrel at a 15-degree angle, and this is a 1/4-inch neoprene. Just a simple light. I believe that'll work. We're going to put it in the bender next and let it dry for a few days and keep an eye on it and slowly shape it to the shape of a cowboy hat. Because right now everything's perfectly round. It doesn't look like much, but over a few days it will take shape. This hat was turned a few days ago, so when a hat comes off the lathe, it's fully round, and then as the sap starts migrating out of the wood, it starts taking shape. You get about half of the bend from the sap migrating out and the other half from the bender. So over a period of a day or so, the hat actually will start taking shape. And so this one is fully bent. And so it's been in here. And then once it's fully bent, I will bake it with some lights to get it fully dry. And as long as the wood is dry, doesn't get any moisture in it, it will maintain its shape. So there was some sanding done on the Powermatic lathe while it's on there. And then once it comes out here, I will sand it some more. And that's how you make a wood cowboy hat. When I first got my first Powermatic in 2010, it changed my ability to turn. By having a good, solid piece of equipment, I was able to turn the things that I really wanted to. I enjoy turning large items. The Powermatic equipment has been great. I have never had an issue. I hear they have great service, but I never had to call them on any issue that I had. And I've maxed it out on some of the pieces I put up there.